We'd appreciate your answers.
Excellent.
Who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Kim Fields.
Secret talent.
Clairvoyant.
You're clairvoyant.
Yes, sir.
Psychic.
Yes, sir.
Ooh. Person you'd trade places with for a day.
That I would trade places with for a day? No one.
No one. Weirdest job you ever had?
Doing missionary work in Haiti, I was able to go to villages and teach mothers that if they would put salt in their water, their children wouldn't die from diarrhea. And so I spent a year and a half in Haiti saving babies' lives.
Working for who?
Working for the good cause, Larry.
I mean, that was a job, though. Someone paid you?
No. This was a...
volunteer.
This was a volunteer for a nonprofit.
Guilty pleasure.
Silence and the love of a good woman.
Biggest risk you ever took?
Adopting children.
How many have you adopted?
6.
6. Best compliment you ever got?
You're good enough.
What never fails to make you laugh?
People smiling.
Worst piece of advice you ever got?
Don't ever change.
Something you wish you were better at?
Dealing with liars.
Best perk of being a celebrity? There's no perk to be... Come on, Katt. You get online to a nightclub, you're going to perform, you're going to go in first.
Yeah, none of that's because of celebrity, as you know, Mr. King.
Who would you like to be stranded on a desert island with?
An excellent swimmer.
That's the best I've heard yet.
Thank you.
Strangest fan encounter?
I met a fan, and she explained to me very definitively that she was my biggest fan. And I explained to her that couldn't be the case. I've slept with most of my biggest fans. I tell her, everything I said, she was like, no, it's really me. And then she reveals her leg, and she has a life-size, it's almost a tattoo of me that she has on her leg. And I then conceded that she was my biggest fan.
Did you take it any further?
No, out of respect for her and myself, I did.
Something you long believed to be true but realized wasn't?
Well, as one of the main opponents of the Illuminati, I always wanted to know what information they had that we didn't. And I found out, I was always wondering how our God could have been so thrown off by a story of a tree and fruit. And then I found out that that's not the case at all. Adam was God's son, which means Eve was his daughter. And if they have sex, that ruins everything. And that's what happened. And that's a piece right there.
Excellent observation.
Thank you.
Tell me something we don't know about you.
Secretly, I'm 6'1".
All right, where on the tour are you now?
Finishing, just officially wrapping up with the special, getting ready to go to the next tour, and then just filmed a movie called 2 Minutes of Fame and a movie called Meet the Blacks 2.
So 2 comedies coming?
Yes, sir, 3 in a row.
And the special is on...
Netflix.
Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
On January 16th. In our final moments, Katt will answer your questions from social media. Don't click away on this edition of Larry King Now. We're back with Katt Williams. The Netflix special airs January 16th. Father.
Katt Williams' thoughts on what happened in the Garden of Eden is really different, though. Yeah, it's really enlightened. So it means, does it mean that God was angry because they did it? So is he trying to say that we are all sons of incense, or what?
Figures opens December 22nd. He's got a lot on his platter. We have a couple of social media questions for you. Istvan Arvai on Facebook. Do you feel like Growing Pains accurately reflects the nature of some of the flashier troubles you've had in your personal or public life?
Even if the answer was no, I would say yes. This is a brilliant question from a brilliant person.
So does it reflect?
I will say yes.
Yes. Corey Anderson on the Larry King Now blog. Is there any comedian you would say your style of comic mimics?
I certainly hope not. Most of the great comedians were great comedians before I started, and I really wanted to make sure that I wasn't a carbon copy of anybody else, even if that meant I wouldn't be as successful. So I hope I'm an original.
When you look at other stand-up comics who came before you, who stands out? Who do you say, wow?
All of them. I'm really in awe.
Talking about Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby,
We are.
Alan King.
We're talking about those, and yet we're also talking about Mitch Hedberg and Dave Chappelle and Martin Lawrence, and we're talking about a lot of comics, Richard Jenney, and I didn't have I wanted to see who was the greatest, and I wanted to soak that in, and so I was honored to be able to come behind those guys.
Corey also asks, what do you do when you don't get a laugh?
Well, it's difficult as a clairvoyant, but I don't put myself out there to be all things to all people. So I don't assume that everything I think funny, other people will think is funny. But I'm always after more than one laugh. I'm in a comedy conversation. So
Do you ever have off nights?
yes, sir, all the time. And the job is to be as funny on those nights.
And that's a struggle, isn't it?
Oh, it's always, yeah, always.
Got to drive you a little nuts. When it
Not if
worked
that's
la-
where you were.
If it worked last night,
Right.
you got to say to yourself, why isn't it working tonight?
Yes, but the true answer is you're not who you were last night. And you better try to get closer to where you were last night. And once you figure that out, remember, those are not the people from last night.
So it's you.
Always. Always.
Melanie Swift on the Larry King Now blog. Who is your dream co-star?
On the male side, Denzel Washington, and on the other side, Dame Judi Dench.
And Peter Roberts on Facebook. Your favorite way to relax at home?
I like to read a book in the hot tub.
Where is home?
I have a hat in California and a hat in Georgia,
Georgia. Where in Georgia?
Atlanta,
And in L.A.?
right here in good old Malibu.
Malibu.
Mhm.
You're traveling a lot, right?
Yes, sir.
You're always on an airplane?
Yes, sir.
You get used to that?
No. No, it's an unnatural thing. The air is unnatural. That many people on a trip is unnatural. But
Strange to be flying, ain't it?
yeah, it is. But it's great. It's great. It's the best way of getting there, and it's its own separate environment. You just have to deal with it.
Except for turbulence.
Except for turbulence. That's a killer.
Katt, thank you, man.
Thank you.
I like the way he's very very remorseful and very very humble and respectful, especially with the questions that is being thrown at him by Larry King. He really answers his question very well, and you know he is a very very humble guy, very very respectful. He doesn't see himself as someone being super great. You know, like he mentioned a lot of great comics, but he also mentioned great comics in this current age, where not ones that passed away. And he says he has a house in California, Atlanta, and stuff like that. You know, chooses places that are with beautiful climates and all whatnot like that. I really appreciate the fact that he's a man that really has a good heart and is trying so much possible to do good, you know, to help people, to make a difference in people's lives, and it is something that we should all appreciate, and if we see people doing such things like that, we should all give them thanks for it. Like it is not easy to have people do that. So we see people do that, we should really appreciate them for what they do. Especially Cat Williams having raising 8 kids, cooking for his kids and stuff like that. He is a guy with a very, very good heart. I never knew he was a psychic though. I had no idea. That's why I remember he spoke about Donald Trump way before Donald Trump became president even. The guy is a good clairvoyant.